You're listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kim, the home girl, back here, and I've got a super cool show today. It's actually a solo show that I am interviewing. I'm actually getting to interview our producer slash editor slash cool guy. Okay,
I like that. Cool guy.
Cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
We're interviewing. I am just me solo. I get to interview Lance Hamby. Let's give it up for Lance.
I like that round
Clap,
of applause.
clap, clap. Lance is a really cool guy. He recently purchased his first home.
I did.
So, and it's so cute. I told him, if you ever move, don't get rid of this house. But he is a first-time home buyer, and he's a DIY enthusiast.
Not a wannabe DIY enthusiast.
You're in the deep of it.
Yeah, I'm in the deep of it. Like, I started it thinking, we're just going to do some small little updates, but I very underestimated just how much painting would...
Painting alone.
Oh my gosh, painting, like how much work really even goes into just painting the house. I thought that's going to be like the least of my worries. It's just get a roller and just roll it.
Gotcha.
And then it's one coat later, two coats later, three coats later.
It's never ending.
It's literally never ending.
Hey, describe what kind of house you bought and the location where you purchased the... I mean, not exactly, but you know what I mean. Is it in a neighborhood? It
is in a neighborhood. So it's like, the cool thing about the house is that it's really central, but it also feels isolated enough that you don't feel like you're right in the middle of everything, even though it is. So like, if you're familiar with the Florence area, it's like over near some shopping centers and everything, but like next to the shopping center is like this little subdivision area. Cool. Really cute, really quaint. It's been there for forever. It's one of those like...
So it's an older type subdivision, it's an older that's established.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the house was built in like the 1950s. So it's like, it's got really good bones and structure to it and everything. Because, I don't know what it was about the houses built in the 50s, but they're not going anywhere.
They are not going anywhere.
I don't know what it was, like what they did back. Like, it was everything they did, from homes to cars. Right. Everything they built was like military grade.
Right. The materials and like trees are still trees today, but like the way they like laid their lumber out, the type of lumber, the nails. Yeah, you got it. Like you're...
For sure. But the benefit of it is that, because it's so old, or not, just kind of older, it's not your typical older type style home. There was even some updates done to it before I even got in there. So like,
gotcha.
The things that I've done to it so far are like very minor, cosmetic,
right?
Just wants and stuff. So like, the fresh coat of paint or whatever.
Right.
I didn't really like the fridge in it, so I got rid of it and I bought a new fridge.
You made it your own. You took what was there and then made it your own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that brings me to my next topic here. So you're doing the renovations yourself, or did you hire contractors?
Doing it myself, but I've been very lucky and very blessed with the amount of friends and stuff that I have that I can call on and say, hey, I need help painting.
And like that, that's a really neat little thing that you brought up, friends, calling on friends to help. We were once in that position, but as you can see, we're quite older than Lance.
Oh my gosh.
But you can do that when you're young, but now, as you get older, I think it's harder to rely on friends, especially like, did you have friends to help move you and stuff?
I had friends that were there from the beginning to like the end of it. So like, I had a whole paint party on a random Thursday night. Gotcha. I said, hey, this is when we're going to be painting. Whoever shows up. And
Poor
friends. I had like 4 or 5 friends showed up, and everything, and they all helped me paint or whatever. And I was like, here's my credit card. Go to Wendy's and get you
and y'all had a great time too.
We did.
And that'll be a memorable experience. And that's kind of some sweat equity that you provided in your home that you didn't necessarily have to hire a contractor for. So that's really cool. Well, have you got into any unexpected challenges that you weren't anticipating?
Well, particularly because, with older homes, some people do some things that they think that they're doing the house a benefit to where somebody else gets it, and then it's like, that's not really a benefit.
Gotcha.
If anything, you made it a little bit harder.
Right.
But it's all based on personal style, personal preference, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you want to make it your own.
You want to make it your
living
own,
there
for sure. So like some people are huge fans of carpet, and they love carpet. To them, it makes them feel cozier, homier, whatever. To me, Kim's like that, and that's where we disagree.
In the bedroom only, though.
In the bed, which is basically the same as my house.
Yeah.
So, but with that though, I don't like carpet.
Gotcha.
I would rather just not have it because to me, like I'm very OCD, so I'm like it's just odor absorbent.
Right.
Like I feel like I could cook a meal,
like a big rug that just is just like germs. Yeah.
I feel like if I cook a big meal in the house or whatever, my bedroom doors are open. I'm like, all I can see is that carpet absorbing that odor.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. So I ripped up that carpet, but the unexpected challenge was, and this is where I underestimated it again, is that there is so much glue on the original hardwood floors under the carpet.
And you didn't anticipate that.
Did not anticipate that at all.
And there's no getting, I mean, like you can sand and.
Even then, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I ripped up this carpet and ripped up all the nails. That's the other thing.
Oh.
Me and my friend Ty spent hours, maybe not hours, that's a little bit exaggerated.
But still, like
just ripping up
way
all
more
those
effort
nails
than
and stuff out of the floor. I was like, what have I gotten myself into over here? I was like, I'm
Were you super sore afterwards, like the next day? Like
it was unreal. I was like, I will never do this again.
See, and you can't, like, that's another thing that you need to learn. Like, you can do projects, but like, are you?
I basically tried to renovate the whole house in a week.
That's
exactly what I did.
Oh, you gotta have, and you have to have help with some of that. You did have friends.
I did have friends. Thankfully, I had a lot of friends that came through and helped me out a lot. But like the way my mind works is, I was like, if I'm gonna make it a home, I'm gonna make it a home before I get in it.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to get so much done, which I had a little bit of lead time because I lived in an apartment before.
Right.
And so I went up to my apartment manager or whatever. I was like, hey, can I have some extra time just to be able to get this done?
Yeah, I knew you had asked for an extra week or something like that. Yeah.
But an easy solution to when I ripped up the carpet is that I was in like oh my gosh, what do I do? There's all kinds of glue on the floor and nails. I don't know how to get all this stuff.
So what did you do? What did you wind up doing?
So I went the easy route, sort of easy route.
Right.
But the easier route, I went to Home Depot. I got some new flooring. I said, hey, you know what?
Which bedrooms? All 3 bedrooms?
2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
Yep, I replaced the flooring in 2
floating
vinyl.
I gotcha. And I've seen pictures, and like you did a really good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Choosing color. Yeah. Like it looks really good, and it flows with the rest of what was already there.
And that's which that's my style. Like I like bright and airy, but also kind of moody or whatever.
Right.
But in a home, and the one thing I love about the house is that it has a ton of natural light. So I was like, man, some white walls in here would just pop.
Yeah.
All throughout the day.
And it really, I mean, like those pictures, like it really, like the floor color and everything. So now, how much were you out on that particular job? Flooring?
So not as much as you would think, because like you can go on the higher end. For some of that stuff, and it could definitely cost you a good chunk of change. But again, I was thinking
even the higher end of vinyl, or LVP, luxury plank vinyl. Yeah,
I lucked out because a friend had actually sent me a link to some vinyl flooring at Home Depot that was only 99 cents a square foot.
Gotcha.
So you could look at it and be like, oh, well, that's cheap or whatever. But honestly, it was the shade that I liked. It was the kind of like look I was kind of like going for. And again, I was like, this is an easy solution, easy fix. It looks great. It does not feel like it's it doesn't feel cheap at all, and it just helped overall make the rooms come together.
So that is a great example of what John and I like. That's kind of like, we've got a process when we do remodel, and we don't want to spend too much. We want to give the home just a few wow factors. But when it comes to certain things, we have to look at all the variables, and like, I think that you chose something that you liked. It necessarily wasn't the best thing on the market, but it fit what you were looking for.
Right.
And then you obviously created your desired outcome. So good for you.
Yeah, for
A+.
sure.
A++++.
I got an A+ from Kim. That's all I ever need.
Well, let me ask you, do you have any tips for, like, let's go back to since this was your first home to purchase, do you have any tips for first-time home buyers?
So we played the long game with this. Since 2020, the housing market, even still now, even while it's cooling down, has just been absolutely insane.
Yes.
And realistically, your money just does not go as far as it used to when
sorry.
buying a house.
Can you say that again?
Your money just does not go as far as it used to when buying a house.
Sadly.
And that's just a part of something that our generation just has to deal with.
Right.
As first
Right.
time, which it can be very frustrating.
Right.
Which is also why I will advocate and say, until you are able to get a home that you absolutely want, just renting is not the worst thing you can do.
Right.
It is an investment and everything,
Yeah.
but make sure it's the house that you want.
Because what was your number one thing about a home in general?
Yeah, well, it had to feel homey.
Homey, and it had to be
Mine. Clean.
Clean,
It had to be
yes.
clean. Yeah, I was like, wait, where are you going
Where are
with
you
this?
going with this one? Yes, because we had talked about it. You in your home search, you would walk in a couple of them, and even though the
gosh.
price may have been right, and
Yeah, the price is right, but the home was a shack.
it was a shack. And
It was not. It was
Right.
not. Which me, I'm a little bit bougie.
You're a little bit bougie.
I have a champagne taste on a beer budget.
Yep.
That's how. That's how I heard it put one day.
Right,
Yeah. I was like,
I've heard that too.
I am bougie, but and I remember the first house I put an offer in. It was absolutely perfect. It was a starter home.
It was, and it was a flip too, wasn't it?
It was a flip.
Yeah.
So what somebody had done is they basically bought this house and brought it down to the studs, like restarted everything, all new sheetrock, all
Right.
new.
I remember that house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they redid the floors.
Was it
all
in
new-
Muscle Shoals?
It was in Florence.
It was in Florence. I got you.
They did all new kitchen cabinets, all new appliances. They completely gutted the bathroom, all new.
Yeah, it was really
A
nice.
shower tub combo.
Very
new
modern looking, too.
Very
Yeah.
modern, very up to date with colors and flooring and stuff like that. It had the original fireplace in it and stuff. But they
Yeah, and so it
redid
still had some like
It had-
vintage things
yes.
included. Yeah,
Yes,
I
it
remember
had
that house.
fantastic curb appeal, but
What happened?
just because of the market and the way that it is,
Oh, I forgot because you lost it. Somebody outbid you, or
yeah, I'm not necessarily sure what happened. We don't have access to that kind of things
Right,
about
right.
which offer they went with or anything
right.
like
But
that.
you did put in an offer and then
I
didn't.
did put in an offer, but we lost it.
Yeah,
Which
which was so that was the common theme amongst
it was
like
heartbreaking.
so many clients that we
It was
had
heartbreaking,
too.
yeah.
So
Which even from that, my real estate agent was like, we'll just keep looking
Mm-hmm.
and we'll visit it again. So I think that was like a whole year. Whenever I did that very first offer.
Mm-hmm. yeah, it was before we met you.
Yeah, it was before we met
Yeah.
and we started doing anything like that, or like what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Which I originally looked with her and everything, and we spent like a whole year just looking.
So the process, advice that you would give first time home buyers is
Be patient
be patient,
Mm-hmm.
keep looking,
and keep looking.
and maybe look beyond what you see too.
Yeah, because you and I are the same in
We
a way
are we are the same on so many levels.
Yep.
Like our brain functions.
Yeah. Is that I can see a lot of potential. Now, granted, sometimes I get in my head with it and I'm like, I can't do this. This is too
Right.
much. Because I also I hate that I do this, but it's just the way my brain works. I don't care how much you clean it up,
Right.
how much you redo to it. I always
still
think about what it was
smells.
before. Not even just that it smells. You can change the smell because, honey, I do that. I go to Bath and Body Works and they're the reason they have wallflowers still on the shelves.
What?
Because I will buy them out and put them in the house. You walk in my house, it smells like white tea and sage,
Bless.
and sometimes eucalyptus mint.
Oh, that's funny.
I
Right.
like very clean scents.
Right.
When I walk into my house, I want to be able to eat off my floors. That's how clean I want it.
That's
And-
pretty good. Yeah.
Sometimes whenever
Now I don't know if we're the same on that level because
well, you've got kids and stuff,
I
so you
do.
kind of
Yeah.
got
I'm constantly cleaning.
yeah, for
So-
real. Yeah, you're getting past all
Yeah.
that. So, but like I said, be patient with it.
Be
and
patient, and then
ultimately make sure that it's the house that you want
Gotcha.
and that you can see yourself in, that you're comfortable with. And honestly, like we've said before in a bunch of your other videos, is that it's an investment.
It's an
So
investment,
you can
right.
think long term with it, because like
Right.
I said, at some point I wanted to turn it into a rental. So I'm thinking long term, how can I best make it feel at home for me now,
Right.
for my style, my
Right.
choice, but also how can I also benefit the future people
Right.
that will also live in this
And
space.
John, we were talking about this last week or the week before, and I don't know if you remember this, but this is like a really good tip, I think, for you, because I hadn't really thought about it. Like, we do this just because we do it, because of, we want to see how much we have in a house. But I know John had mentioned a couple weeks ago, like, keep up with everything that you spend on this house, like every single dollar. And because it's not your forever home, it is your home and you want to make it your home. but at the same time, you don't want to put more into it than you're going to get out of it in the end. But you got to know how much you put in it.
Exactly, because you have to consider things exactly like that. You have to consider things like the area that you bought it in, or whatever.
Right.
So you can build a multi-million-dollar mansion in the middle of like a very moderate subdivision, and you're only going to get so much out of it.
You're not getting that right.
So you could be more negative than you are positive.
I think that goes with the saying when they say, buy the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Because that's how you can get the most money out of it.
Exactly. And a lot of people are like, I want to be in this neighborhood, and then there's a house that's overpriced, and they're not looking at, this house is overpriced, and it's kind of, not very, like, it's got a lot of issues going on with it. So,
which can help you make decisions even as far as it came to the flooring and stuff like that. As in, like, the bougie me is like, I want new hardwood.
Right. And I'm like, Lance, hey, you are way up here. You need to kind of come, because, but I think you've done a good job of that. Now, you did splurge on a fridge. Like,
I did.
I'm still like reeling from that, because that fridge was decent, but
you're fibbing.
No, I kind of, but you have to understand where we come from too. Like, it was a stainless steel. Y'all, it was a stainless steel.
But the way that I looked at it is
top
that
and bottom fridge.
It felt like a dorm fridge. I felt like it was like I was at UNA.
But if you know what, that's okay. Because you're living there, and if that's the one thing that you want to improve on, and it is like, unless you built a cabinet to cover it up, you're gonna see that fridge.
Which honestly, as far as like, even when you decide to sell your home later, things like those kind of updates will always help you in the long run and everything. Which I'm also like this is going to sound bad, I'm a brand snob. So the fact that the fridge, the microwave, the dishwasher, and the stove are all different brands right now is driving me absolutely insane.
But that's okay. Here's the rule on that, because I'm a big brand snob too. Not more or less, like, I want them all to match, because there's different shades and different, But I think that you can get away with that because your home is older. Now, if you were to build a home, I can't, sometimes at first when we would go and buy appliances, John's like, well, hey, this is such and such, and I can get this one for that. And I'm like, oh, they all have to, like, we have to buy a suite that matches.
Yes.
Like, you can't, but I have seen it the other way too. I had a client one time, and he was like, kind of like dabbled in, like chef work or whatever. Like, he cooked all the time, and his big thing was he looked up every single I can't talk today Consumer Report, like the top rated appliance on Consumer Reports, and that's what he went with. And I'm like, oh, you're killing me. And it was actually, it worked, and he was happy. So I think, it really, in the end,
yeah, for sure. And which, now, even when I was picking out that kind of stuff, the fridge that I bought was like, what's the nicest fridge that I can buy for less than $1,000? Gotcha. And I lucked out. So you can still,
you were in your budget.
You can be budget friendly and get what you want.
Good like, for you.
Honestly,
Good for you.
Yeah, for real. Thank you. I deserve a round of applause.
That's right. Because I mean, like, you still have to be disciplined, and but you're like, this is my first house.
That's definitely what I learned.
Well, that was your first appliance purchase. Well,
yes.
Your first appliance purchase.
It absolutely was. I walked into Lowe's with all the confidence in the world. I said, I want this fridge.
I want this fridge. Let's give it up. All right. So is there any other projects that you're planning on doing in the future to this home?
I've got so many, to the point where I'm like, I think I should just sell it because of everything I want to do to
Don't sell it. Sell it to me.
Okay.
Because it's so cute, y'all.
I'll write you an offer once we're done with this video.
Yes.
Wait, no, you got to write me an offer. See, I can't do real estate because I'd mess up.
I can be your realtor, so then we can actually, like, lower the price because, I have to pay my broker. So
that's true.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I can write an offer all day.
Future updates to the house that I would love to plan to do is, pressure washing goes a long way. That's a very minor cosmetic thing, but you would be surprised at just the like the curb appeal that it'll add to your home.
Correct.
By just pressure washing your driveway.
And that may be something that you can borrow from a friend.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have like 3 or 4 friends that have been like, we have an electric one, we have a gas one.
So that's
just
a good,
borrow this from us. Yeah.
Little sweat equity there too.
And then, like, on the back patio, right now it's got some of the old, what is it called? Like the metalish overhang or whatever. It's like
an awning.
Yeah, something like that. It's a little older. It's a little bit rusted or whatever. So
is it like oh my word! What is?
I don't know what the name, but you know what I'm talking about. They know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm granted. I'll put a picture up here if I need to.
What is it out there, people? What is it called, John?
But I would love to re-sand that back down, paint it, give it like a little bit fresher. I'd love to do things,
which is not a whole lot of money. It's more sweat. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I have a fire pit too, and like one of my favorite things to do is, this is where I'm an old man. I'd love to sit out on the patio.
Me too.
In a rocking chair.
Me too. Just sit.
I love it.
And like not.
Yes.
Just.
So I want good patio furniture. I want to set off a little area.
Well,
and
you've got a covering for that right now.
Yeah.
So that's super cool.
But I also want to set off a little area in the backyard where it's like this little pebble area with my fire pit in the middle and some chairs around it, some stone around it.
Cool.
I would love to
and
do
if
all
you
this
ever
kind of
did
stuff.
sell the house, or if you were to keep it and rent it, like that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a huge focal point, So so many good things. Like I think you made a great first time home buyer choice. I think it always go back to God always had your best interest. Mm-hmm. If you pray about it, He'll always lead you in the right direction. Even though, those first couple of ones that you lost, were like daggers, like, ooh. Like, why me? I'm doing all the right things. But in the end, I think that, you got exactly what you're where you're supposed to be. And I think you are probably going to be more happy in the long run. So, just, wrapping this up, is there any kind of advice that you want to give first-time home buyers in general about, a couple things. First-time home buyers, you can address that. And then first-time home buyers with a flip on their hands, or a renovation type process on their hand, that they know they're buying the house knowing that they've got to do the work.
Yeah, so I'll start with the first one. The advice that I have for any first-time home buyer is that it is a process. You will sign so much paperwork that you feel like you have just sold. Sometimes you're like, you're telling me what it says. I don't know what it says, but I'm just signing it. And that's how it goes. And that comes with, putting in offers or whatever, all that good stuff. But be patient with it. It is a long game sometimes, really just depending on how the market is. If it's like it is in 2020, I don't know what to do. But, as it slows down.
Me neither.
As it slows down or whatever.
Buckle up.
It gets a little bit easier, but,
it does.
Sometimes you will get outbidded. Sometimes, an all-cash offer will come in and just kind of
that's always going to be the case, right?
But eventually, at some point, you will find something that you like, find something that you're willing to do, put yourself and, live there for a little bit. And then the other advice that I have, especially if you're going into something, whether it be minor cosmetic renovations or an overhaul, make sure that you have the bandwidth to do it. And don't underestimate the small things, even like
the bandwidth in your pocketbook or your energy.
Both. Which I have a whole new respect for people that flip houses and people that construct houses or whatever.
They've got to see
more power to you. Some people are gifted to it.
Well,
I'm not.
And in talking about that, it's hard to get people to understand, but you make your money when you buy.
Yeah.
And so if you spend too much, and people are like, oh yeah, that's an $85,000 house, but how much are you gonna have to put in it? So
exactly. Well,
thank you so much, Lance.
You're welcome.
It has been a pleasure talking to you today, and I've gotten bits and pieces of some of those conversations, but it's because we're both just so busy, and you're more busy than we are. It feels like running.
I don't know. Listen, honestly, after this whole process, I don't know. I feel like y'all are always a lot busier. Even just seeing my real estate agent walk in on closing day with just a stack of paperwork, I was like, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Well, you do.
I'm like, y'all have you have to be doing this at midnight. There's no way you do this at a 9
Sometimes
to 5.
It does happen at midnight.
There's no way.
But yeah, I'm glad that we got to sit down and talk and chat, and maybe next time we can chat over, some lunch. But I hope you enjoyed Lance's interview today, and that wraps us up. So we will see you next week. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.